Well, hello, friends. Thank you for joining me again today. Um, Today, I'm with my very special friends, David Maria and Viivika Kalma. They're in Spain. I'm here in Oregon. And our connection is absolutely incredible, heart to heart. This is their fifth session with me. I'll call it interview. Um, the others have unfolded incredibly spontaneously because that's how their work is. It is constantly evolving. It's going deeper and ever more profoundly. And I get to be the beneficiary of that quite frequently. And I must
So,
say, it has really shifted and expanded me in just remarkable ways. So we have agreed this morning that we're going to just flow spontaneously, not necessarily around any specific opening theme, because I know in their work, um, things are constantly evolving and they will speak from the heart and the core of that evolution. So, Vivica and David, thank you one more time. I envy you being in sunny Spain. Here we are in cloudy Oregon. Uh, David knows about that. But thank you. And here we go. Share, 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 share. Thank you.
thank you, Bill. And it goes without saying, it's always a pleasure for us. It's always a blessing for us to be here with you. And we also enjoy being the beneficiary of being in your presence also and sharing presence with you.
Well, thank you.
It's wonderful
Thank,
to be with you.
Thank you
thank
so much, Bill, for having us. And it's, as David said, it's joy and honor to share this place of love and unity with you.
Well, we did a session on Sunday. You did a session. I was there with a number of colleagues who have been in classes with me. And I must say that the almost instant depth in which the energy that's being projected by the two of you, that it reaches me and opens me up, is just remarkable. And I'm so wishing that our viewers could take advantage of that. Join us. Um, tell us how they can do that. How can they
Well,
find out about your work?
to begin with, if you're watching this video, we are present. We are present here with you. And that energy of the presence that we are is always present in a now moment. If somebody is watching this video in 2026 or 2027 or 2030, the energy is still present. So just go inside yourself, tune into yourself, connect with it in the same way that you just described how you connect with it. And of course, you can always find us online at our website, which is just www.theedentemple.com. It has evolved into something new. Our website used to be the Eden Template. That's evolved now into the Eden Temple, and that's a manifestation of the inner work that we have gone through that has evolved it into something brand new. You can find us on Facebook too. Soon to be on Instagram, but not yet.
Okay. Well, let me delve into the topic of the temple. Okay. And the Eden temple. I'm thinking that in each of our cases, we are, from your perspective and from the work, the essence of what you do, we are all temples of an original, okay, an Eden of beginning, of opening that is absolutely pure, infinite, etc. Am I am I right in thinking that that's sort of how that got linked and put together?
This is our natural state of consciousness. And if you think about yourself as you are the spark of source, which includes primordial sound and the primordial light united as one. And this spark holds the same potential of infinite expansion as source. And this spark is not separated from the source. It is united as one with source through our core, or more accurate, it is our core. This is our very essence. And when you start to connect with your very essence, with a spark within your heart, with your core, the more you're starting to experience your true self, which is what we calling the Eden state of the Garden of Eden. And it expands constantly. And we first you start to feel these small glimpses of your true self, which is this reality, peace, and love. And the more you remove these veils, beliefs, all beliefs that we held about ourselves, our identities, different ego layers, fears, the more you start to feel and embody your true self. And the more you start to feel these beautiful states of love and bliss and balance. And the more you do that, the more you go deeper and deeper into your infinite heart, the more it's becoming the permanent state. And it's literally means that your stargate will be open, and you are. We can call it also as shift in consciousness, but it doesn't really describe the full depth of that, because it is infinite expansion, and same time it's not that you only experiencing only these deep states of love. You also living at the same time in this physical world, and you're witnessing everything what's happening in this world, but same time there is always this core vibration. You always hold this your core vibration. It's really easy to come back to your true self, even when you momentarily like feel this chaotic energies in outer world, but you still hold this your very core vibration all the time. And this is what we do in the class. We with David, we as open conduits to this energy, to Christ consciousness, to presence of source. We're holding this unity field, this unity with source, and everybody who coming into classes and who are open and have a resonance with this energy, they feel the same experience. It's becoming united experience. And of course, everybody experiencing this in their unique way, because we are all united, but same time also unique fractals of the source.
Well, I want to put an interpretation into what you've just said, as I heard the words, okay, that may help our audience who's not as familiar with some of the languaging. There is within us what you've called the core, okay, in other instances, but there is a true self. There is an absolute Eden self, okay, original essence self down in there that has been covered and covered by layers and layers of other kinds of dissonance, distraction, density, etc. And the work is about opening, pulling those open, seeing what they are, letting them go, dissipating them, getting down to this magnificent center that we have, and letting that radiate and really be the impelling force and energy in our lives as we live here on the 3D plane. Is that fair to say, or did I put too many words on that?
Just a few words.
Just a few.
You could simplify it a little bit more.
Okay, help me
by,
out.
by merely saying that everybody and everything is source. You are source. And so is everybody watching this particular video. We are the entirety of all creation. We are the creator. There's no separation. We've just forgotten. And so the essence of what is going on is that we're beginning to remember. And this is the time. This is a prophesied time that we're in, where we're all beginning to remember just who we are. And we discover all kinds of things that we have, for whatever reason, chosen to continue to believe. And gradually, like you say, we pull them off just like a layer of an onion. And we remember who we are. We're not discovering anything, we're just remembering.
Well, I think it's
how can you discover what you already are and always have been?
Well, I think a lot of viewers would say, well, that just doesn't make sense to me, because I look around the world and I see people doing all these negative things and evil things and destroying other people and on and on and on, but we'd have to elaborate that. How can that be source, okay, inside of us, doing all this terrible stuff? Okay, and that's the question that's going to be in the way of um, opening up and really evoking, finding and evoking, discovering and evoking this core energy and this core light. Is it not?
If you walk into the middle of a totally dark room and click on a flashlight or a lighter.
A lighter, yes.
It's just one light, and yet that light is there. And yet the absence of that light is also there. The earth is school. This has been a really hard knock school for a very, very, very long time. And the essence of why we come here as souls, why we choose to come here, because we all choose to do this, is to learn how to master our own energy. We choose to come here because we know that if that's our path, that we will begin to remember who we are and begin to master the energy that we are. Is it incredibly simple? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't make sense, but as school it does. And it doesn't really have to make sense.
And in Earth, we experience this dualistic experience about ourselves. And there has always been these two forces, creative force and destructive force. And they're not separated from each other, they are one. And it always have been that the old creation is dissolving and new creation is rising. But in Earth, there have been imbalance between these two forces. And some of the souls, some beings, they decided to play this destructive force, and it amplified more, and it became something else also. And now what we're doing, we will unite these two forces as one. And it's many people charging this destructive force. And when we're talking, for example, about death, many people also putting a label to this force, which is united with this destructive force. But the truth is that this is really transformational force, and it's always united with this creative force. So what we're right now experiencing also in outer world, this is reflection of our inner process, because this destructive force and creative force, they starting to find this balance with each other. And now we see how what we call this destructive force, it's bring forth also this our miscreations, our shadows, fears, everything that we created in this dualistic experience, and we can call it as healing crisis. So it is collective healing crisis, and when we're going through that, when we're going through our shadows, when we dissolve that, then under the shadows or inside of these shadows, there is always light, because every creation holds this original intention of source also, which is light and sound, combination of light and sound. And when this even when they have been distorted, they still hold this original intention. And when we release all this denser energy that's surrounding that, this original intention and light will be released. And this is really deep inner process what we're going through, and the more people going through this inner process, the more we see this reflection in our collective consciousness, because we all working not through only our own shadows, but we also doing it collectively. So
please clarify. You said a minute ago the words healing crisis. What is the crisis? If one thinks of healing as sort of a good thing, and it's allowing more of what the wellness and the light within us, and the flowing coherent energy in us to manifest. What is it what is the crisis?
the crisis is when there is many people who are not aware about that, what's going on, and they feel that as like personal crisis in personal life, or this is reflection of what's going inside of ourselves that will be like manifestation or certain or what you experience in your personal life. So this is what I refer as healing crisis. So many people feeling really strongly as the old is dissolving. And when we are in resistance to this healing force, this transformative force, which dissolving this old energy, we experiencing that as lost, as crisis. So and from personal experience, when I started to wake up and I didn't have any idea what's going on with me, and all these emotions and all these stories that we held, they starting to surface, and many people don't understand that what's going on in their life. So this is, the more we are in resistance to this force and the more we are unconscious about that, then we can experience that as crisis and we act through this energy.
Is it fair to say that when let me call it the lighter energy, the healing energy, okay, begins to push up against, it wants expression, and the expression sort of pushes against the familiar things that we're always doing, what can happen if that other starts to, the old starts to dissolve, is we lose our sense of who we are because things just aren't the same, and there are these new things we just don't know how to accommodate. Is that part of the crisis that you're talking about? In a sense, the more we heal, the worse it gets, right? In terms of challenging the familiarity of what we have created in our lives.
As an example, let's just say that if you live your life in such a way that you never dispose of the garbage that you generate in your kitchen, you just put it in the corner, gradually it's going to start to smell and even worse. That's kind of what we've been doing as an entire world, as peoples on the planet. Not everybody, of course, just collectively. And it's not just physical things, it's emotional and thought processes. Excuse me. I apologize. So it's belief systems. It's thinking of us and them, and there is no them. There is nobody else. There's no out there. There's only in here, inside. So we're not only beginning to discover these things, we're beginning to clean them up inside of ourselves. If I have a belief system that I look at you with, and that belief separates you, at least in my consciousness, from being source, from being our creator, because you are our creator, so is everyone. If I have any thought or feeling or belief that includes putting anybody outside of that concept, outside of that awareness, that creates a density around me. Doesn't create it, it might reinforce a density around you, but it's primarily focused to me. So we clean ourselves up, we do our homework. And yes, we do step into something entirely unknown. We don't know what this is. You know from your personal experience that for a long time I offered an up to 12-week course called Freedom from the Known, because it really is stepping into an unknown. We don't know. And that's part of the challenge, is trusting that if we step into the unknown, it's going to be, not only is it going to be okay, it will be absolutely wonderful. There may be some bumps and hiccups on the way, some trials. That's okay. It's just you think of it as the biggest adventure that we've ever been on is stepping into an absolute unknown that we have no idea what it is or what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to turn out, and it's okay. It's all okay. All is well.
And before we start, we can talk about healing process. Before that, we need to break down the wall that we created in the front of our heart. And when, for example, we are refused to change, when we still hold this wall, when we're still holding this stagnant energy, then this transformational force, what we spoke about, becoming destructive force, but because it's starting to, when it's time to wake up, it's starting to destroy this wall in the front of our heart. And the more we are in resistance, the more we can feel this as personal crisis, and we can see the reflection of that in our life. So this is, and after that, when we starting to surrender, we're really consciously starting to wake up and surrender to this force and consciously choose ourselves as souls, as source. Then we starting to go through this true healing process.
Is the healing process then inevitably going to be uncomfortable? No? Okay,
No.
go ahead.
It might be. It could be.
Okay.
It could also be really, really easy. The more resistance that you are to the changes, once they start to happen, once you begin to awaken and remember who you are inside, even if it's just a little tiny bit, it is inevitable that this will happen. And if you are resistant, oh no, I'm not going to do this, no, not going to happen. If that's your perspective, the more that you continue to resist, the more challenging it will be, because that energy is irresistibly going to break through. The more of a wall that you put up around it and refuse to let it in, the more challenging it will be for you. But you can also do the exact opposite. You can just surrender and say, okay, whatever arises, that's what arises, and I'm okay with that, and just surrender and let it come. Whatever's whatever is your resistance that you might have can just as easily dissolve and let go as hold on. So it can be ease and grace, or sometimes, and this is our choice, we can be drug kicking and screaming. It just depends upon what it is that we wish.
there is always phases also when we really feeling when our personal self, which is ego and which is also connected with our identity, starting to dissolve. And then we really feel this feeling of grief and sorrow sometimes, time to time, and sometimes it can be also really deep. But in order to really heal, we need to feel. We need to feel to release what we held within ourselves. So it can be sometimes a little bit first upside down or up and down. So we
and gradually it begins to balance out.
yeah, and then it's just momentarily you feel that okay, something rising, and you're witnessing that and letting go. And but first it can be as you there can be lots of stuff that rising and you feel and working through that, and then after that you're creating a space and you're starting to feel more and more your true self stepping forth and take over your journey, and it is like expansion and contraction and expansion and contraction until it's just your heart becoming like this infinite blooming rose. It's new petals unfolding and unfolding, and it's opening up from inside out, and it's constant process when you're fully connected with your true core.
Well, let me put a hypothetical out, and that is, so I'm a really nice person, and I have a family, and I have a job, or a career, et cetera, and people like me, et cetera. What have I got to gain by going into this kind of work and opening up and unraveling these things? Because who knows what kinds of consequences that's going to have for the good things that are happening in my life. Let's say I'm that kind of person. So doing this, I think, would feel like a risk. What have I got to gain? What have I got to gain by doing this risky thing called, peeling away layers of what seemed to me to be goodness?
Everything that you ever imagined but could not possibly have believed could be true about yourself. What is it worth to discover the truth of who you are? Remember how admonished we've been over the centuries to know thyself, to know who you are, to remember. And once you remember, that's everything. It's everything.
And why we going through this process, and even people who really feel that they have a good life and they have everything what they wanted to have, and but it's not about the outer reflection of or outer world or outer reflection outer sources of love. This is what we do when we're going through this process. We releasing this outer sources of love, that creating this artificial feeling of happiness. Because when we're losing these outer sources of love, whatever they are, our job, or the people who we love. It doesn't mean that we need to lose, but if something happening in outer world and we're losing something what we consider the source of love, we're starting to feel this immense emptiness, and we cannot create anymore this feeling of happiness. But when we're going through this inner process, what we're calling ascension, then we start to trust more and more these inner sources of happiness and love. And one point we're becoming that. It's becoming constant flow. And we're starting to feel all the time this immense fulfillment, which is not connected to these outer sources of joy or love. Of course, the people who we love, then they can even more amplify that, but it's always there. It's always there, and we're becoming also this source of love and unity for them. And we feel just this pure joy without any outer sources of joy. It's just coming. You waking up. When you awakening up in the morning, you started to feel this fulfillment because you are who you truly are.
What role does our religion or our religious beliefs that we equate with the word spirituality, where does that play here? Because this doesn't sound like church, and what we've been taught to believe is God and is goodness, etc. Is there something you can say about that provides some clarity there?
If you believe something, it makes it true for you. Therefore, it becomes something. Ultimately, every single religion is going to lead you to the realization that you are source, you are God. But in the interim, whatever belief that you have, whatever that might be, it's going to prevent you from experiencing the truth of who you are directly. In other words, it becomes a filter that you look at truth in, instead of becoming the truth. It's a much different thing. And if religions were truly working the way that they were meant, they would lead you to this. How they're projected out into the world. Look at how many different denominations of religion there are just within the church structure of Christianity, let alone of Islam, let alone of Judaism. The history of the Christian church is somebody saying, I don't believe your interpretation of the Bible, so I'm going to create another sect. I'm going to create another church, and then another, and another, rather than what is it inside here that unifies me, that shows me the unbroken and flowing unity between myself and everybody else.
And in Bible there is mention about paradise, and that after our physical life is something where we go, but the true paradise, the Eden, what we're talking about, it's always there within you. This is a state of consciousness, and we don't need to leave our body now. And when we to really feel this, our true self, and many people described their near-death experience that they felt this immense love, and they didn't want to come back in their physical body. And this is the glimpses of our true self. But we really don't need to lose our body or to left our body to experience that. This is all point of our ascension process, that we're bringing all these different states of consciousness, this opening up our inner paradise and becoming the reflection of that. And the collective consciousness, we all part of that, becoming reflection of our inner paradise. We are like projectors to this collective consciousness also. So,
well, the near-death experience work that I have read about and read quite a bit about, or seen people interviewed, etc., is often that this all-encompassing feeling of love, etc., that people experience initially when they cross a veil of some kind. It's that they don't want to come back into this chaos. They would be very, very happy to stay in this new sort of universal context of field of love. And so I'm wondering if that's sort of what you were really saying, Viivika, is that they don't want to necessarily come back into their bodies because their bodies are so terrible, but they don't want to come back into this, situation that we humans have created for ourselves collectively.
and this our body experience also. That I had experience also when I usually it's everything happening within my body, so I don't go outside of my body. It's happening but once I went or I like left my body, and when I came back, it felt like I'm in little box.
Yes.
It's literally felt that I didn't even realize where I am when I was in my body. It was like so dense and so small, and it was a little bit like shock to my to my consciousness when I came back. So this is also the experience when we like we left our body, and like when we're coming back, it's like we compressed in this small.
No, I had an experience with my shaman out in the desert, and he gave me this medicine, and he said, "Now this is going to just expand you tremendously, but I don't want you to go out with this energy. Just hold it here in your body, okay?" And it was exactly what you have described. It's like, oh my God, oh, it's so terrible because this container we have is so constraining, and oh my God, it was just absolutely awful. And it was,
Yes.
it was like feeling what your soul must feel like when it's this all expansive essence and it gets crammed into this very, very limited and limiting physical vehicle here called our bodies.
Yes, and
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to mention, and there is also in our auric body, there is tensile layers that that also connected with our ego. And when this denser layer starting to crack open, then we're starting to merge with our bigger cosmic body, which literally holds all creation. And then we're starting to feel this unity with all creation. And it's much lighter. Our physical body also starts to feel much lighter. We feel much lighter and much open, and it's really beautiful when we're starting to merge with that.
And it can be uncomfortable to begin with, just as you said. It's like coming into a house or being given a house, and when you go there for the very first time and open the door, you just cannot believe how much dirt there is. And yet you roll up your sleeves and you start cleaning, and gradually the house becomes cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And in our case, what we're doing is cleaning places within us that we have frozen our consciousness into our cellular structure, whether that's physically, emotionally, or mentally, or spiritually. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. But as you go in and release that, what you discover is what Viivika said just earlier, that within all of that density, there is light that is trapped as inside of a distortion or a miasm. And as you release the energy of the miasm, or release the constrainment of the density that it's surrounded, it releases this light, and you just become that light. It flows to your heart, it surrounds you, and it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And it does not stop. It just keeps opening. It just keeps expanding. So, and part of the reason we come back is because there's only one of us here. There's only Source. And who would not want to come back and share with others what our experience was, so that they have an opportunity to be inspired or quickened through what you went through, what you realized, and what you now hold by having crossed over and returned. You now become a living conduit to be able to share that with others, that they also may know this.
I've had the experience recently of encountering, I'll say, two friends who have very firm beliefs, religiously or paradigmatically, about how the nature of the world works, and had the opportunity to explain much more to them about the true nature of this, I'll call it esoteric or spiritual kind of work I've been doing. And I have been amazed that they have been, once the door has been opened, because they see me as I've lived in their rational world, and they see me that way, and I have credibility that way. And when I'm able to explain these things about how they work and what the experiences are, they both have said, "I want to learn more. Please tell me more. Give me more information. Send me more things. What else can I learn?" Okay, and it's been utterly surprising and amazing to me that there is down inside a receptivity on their part to want to take I'm going to say, the orthodox interpretations of these things that they have been basically socialized to believe. And when they see that in a slightly different way, how, oh, it opens up just a desire for more and more and more. It's
And
been incredibly gratifying.
the reason this happened, Bill, is because you have done the work yourself. You no longer have any place left in you that is actively resonating with any of the belief systems of your friends. And so you present a vibration, an energy of freedom. And that resonates with inside of them because you have no resistance. It doesn't matter what, if somebody has just the most frozen belief system that you can imagine, to be in the presence of someone that doesn't, that there is no resonance up to those frozen systems anymore inside of yourself. That's what really begins to help change somebody else, what begins to help them open up to discover the truth inside themselves.
And the more you are connected with your true core, and you're becoming this core truth, and you become a conduit to the living language of source, because all creation, it is combination of sound and light, which is living language of source. And it's mean that when you speak, the sound of your voice and the energy that you're carrying in your field and your shining force, it always holds this primordial seed sounds, and we can also call them as seeds of truth. And they literally seeking this open hearts. And when they find this open heart, they starting to sprout, yes, and it creates this resonance. And the heart of this person starting to open up more and more, and literally bloom until it's becoming also conduit to this divine truth.
I think what you said about the tone of the voice, okay, when the tone of the voice is gentle, accepting, warm, when there isn't a stridence to it that is basically saying, you need to believe me. When you just say, well, here it is, it's invitational. Okay, that is perhaps what I've learned more from this work than anything else, is the invitational nature of it and how people respond to that invitation, that acceptance, because the sense of separation has dissolved a lot.
Come on, in, the water's fine.
And when you talk from your heart, when you share from your heart, then the sound of your voice, it's always carrying the sound of your voice is a part of your soul signature, and it's carrying your very essence. And the more you speak from your heart, there is different rays of light and vibration that you emanate constantly. And as we said, if there is a resonance in other heart, they feel that, and sometimes they're starting to you cry, and they say that even when you don't speak, you are in their presence. Sometimes when you just look in their eyes, they feel that, and very often we experience with David also that some people starting to cry, and they say that they don't know what it is, but they feel that, and this resonance and remembrance. And but the truth is that what the experience is, they experience their own light, and just the seed sounds and our energy, it just helps to remember we are just divine mirror to them. Because this, our very core is same. My core, your core, Bill core, we all same in our core. We are one.
For me, the key has been not having to prove anything. Not having to prove I'm right, not having to prove I've achieved, not having to prove one thing or another, which have been...
You don't have any belief systems left.
Well, there are some sense of identity systems that I have that are incredibly more expanded and expansive than they used to be. Let's put it that way. And I'm still facing, David, there's one that I'm still facing, okay? Right now, it will not be broadcast across the airwaves here, that I need to resolve. I need to come to peace with it. All right. Beyond that, boy, I'm feeling like an open book, right? Like I never have.
You're definitely not the same person that I met years ago. And it's so lovely to be with you. It's so lovely to see you each time and discover who you've become.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It feels awfully good. It feels awfully good. Viivika, I wanted to ask you, and I think our listeners would be very interested. You said a while ago in the conversation that when you started to become aware of these things, and things were changing, et cetera, did you have a quote teacher at the time? Were you working with someone who was, or was this all sort of self-combustion, as we might say?
No,
I like that expression, self-combustion.
no, I didn't. I really wish that I had, but I didn't, and I really didn't. I wasn't spiritual at all. When I was child, I was really open, and I felt. I felt I felt different energies, and I was really receptive. And at one point, I just closed all of that when I was teenager, and when I started to open up, I really don't had any clue what it is and what's going on with me, and even then, when I started to see things in the night, and sometimes I had really intense downloads. I was in really strong resistance that why me? I don't want that. Why me? So until I started to surrender, because I realized that it's whatever I do, it's never-ending process.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So, can I share one thing, Bill, before we leave?
Please. Yes.
So, the journey of remembering who we are sometimes can be, shall we say, not the most fun thing that we've ever experienced. It might be. But if you think of a seed, any seed that gets planted in the ground to grow food, it has to go under the ground. It has to spend whatever time is appropriate for that seed in the dark. And eventually, with the right conditions, this seed begins to germinate, but it doesn't immediately go up to the light. If it did, it would have no strength. It sends a root down, and it sends that root down as far as an individual plant that it can. If it's a tree, that's a really deep root. If it's a grain, it's not so deep. It's shallower, but it is the foundation that gives it the strength to come up into the light and then begin to flower and blossom and bloom. So sometimes we go through those periods, and it's okay. We learn to be comfortable with those times where we need to just be introspective and quiet. And then as we continue to grow, we get stronger and stronger. There's more light that comes through us.
It is really beautiful, a really beautiful example that David gave, and this is exactly what we should do when there is this integration period, that we really letting our roots grow and become stronger and just be in this in these energies, and this means that all our intention then goes inside. And then when it's this expansion period, our attention is outside. And I was perfect example of that I went like up. my opened up, and all higher planes and different dimensions, but my root wasn't very strong. And yeah,
and had no foundation.
And then my higher self brought me back that you need to concentrate into your roots and go through all these different layers and levels and ground all these experiences, integrate these energies. So
If there's anything I've learned in this process, it's about patience. That it unfolds when it's going to unfold, and when you let it unfold, instead of when you compel it to do something, which certainly doesn't always happen with the compelling energy.
I've never known compelling to work.
No, well, but we live in a world where we're told, go out there and drive and compel and make it happen, and throw your weight around and that kind of thing, and everything's supposed to happen fast and quickly. And if it doesn't happen fast and quickly, boy, it isn't worth paying attention to, because we don't have our attention span seems to be contracting and contracting. And boy, this is absolutely the opposite. I mean, the words acceptance and openness and patience, ugh, big words in this work.
We cannot anymore push and pull as we did in lower energies, and it just creates resistance and suffering. And what we're doing, we just will become this flow. We're learning how to be one with this flow, and then one point we're just becoming that. It's constant. This is us. This flowing through us, and we're becoming true creator beings.
Wow. Well, thank you for this. This has been a wonderful, wonderful hour. I'm profoundly grateful. I'm sure our audience is greatly enlightened by this conversation, and I look forward to many more. David, just tell us one more time, edentemplate.com, will that do it in terms of contact to about the courses and classes that you're offering?
No, it's theedentemple.com.
The Eden Temple. Okay. All right. Audience, the Eden Temple. The classes and the courses are absolutely incredible. Let me ask, David, is there access can people get access to some of the courses we have done and the recordings? Do you have something set up for that or not?
Yeah, yes, and it's still in a transitional journey, but
Okay.
you can purchase some of the earlier classes, not some of the later ones. That's still coming, or some of the more current ones. That's still coming. But you can purchase basically all of the classes that we have ever offered. They're on our website on the menu item meditations. You can purchase them once at a time. We are expanding that soon to where you'll be able to purchase blocks of meditations and have, say, a year to be able to listen to them or review them over and over again if you choose to make it more available to everybody in whatever your schedule might be. We're in the process of going through what looks to be like a year-long revision of the way that we present the classes and the material and et cetera, et cetera. So we do it a piece at a time, as we've just finished the conversion from the Eden Template to the Eden Temple. And that was a real deep learning curve, because there's so many pieces tied to that old name to get everything shifted. And it's a continuous, it's just like we've been describing. It's a continuous growth and an unfolding. And
Well,
we also offer one-on-one sessions together. The two of us together, we do one-on-one sessions, which you've experienced on multiple occasions, as guidance to be able to help people.
well, the work is remarkably powerful and deep and authentic. And I am incredibly grateful for having had these experiences. I'm glad that I've had the energy, the message to keep going with it, because there's more and there's more. And audience, please check it out, theedentemple.com, and look for us for our next interview. It's coming soon, and it's bound to be deep and significant. So thank you for being with us, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Many blessings.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Always a blessing to be with you.
Thank you so much.
And thank To all of you viewers, thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you.